I'm Adrienne, and I welcome you to the Intention Sessions podcast. I want to inspire our most intentional living. In each episode, we'll talk to remarkable individuals who will share their authentic journeys and their insights with us. They're going to remind us that life's complexities can be our greatest teachers, and that intentional living can be expressed in an infinite number of ways. I hope you find some inspiration for your most intentional life right here. Today on the podcast, we have Shawn. Inspiring others to take a holistic approach to beauty, Shawn is an acclaimed international editorial and celebrity makeup artist. She is the founder of the Wholistic Beauty Lab and a certified aromatherapist. With 35 years in the beauty industry, her proprietary blend of bespoke skincare and energy work is what she calls vibrational beauty. Jackie is also a very dear friend of mine and the creator of the May No Joy essential oil, which I know you guys all love and we're waiting for more. And we had just done this incredible workshop pre-COVID and really had this incredible conversation about beauty. And Jackie's just doing such important work in this area. So Jackie, I'm just thrilled to have you, and I'm super excited about this conversation.
I am so deeply honored. Thank you for inviting me. And you're excited. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So there's so much that I want to cover with you, but I did just want to take a step back. Like, we're definitely going to spend most of the time, talking about the work that you're currently doing because it's so important. But you have had this incredible career. I remember being at an event with you and, just these names came out of celebrities and rock stars that you worked with. And I was just curious, what did that experience and environment teach you about beauty?
Wow, that's a great question. I would have to say that the celebrities that I worked with, whether they all have insecurities too. They're just like you and I. And in fact, just think how you are. And then just, however big a celebrity is, millions of people looking at you every day, and I think that's one of the things is that they're no different other than they have, extraordinary talents. Like they're phenomenal at what they do. And also their work ethic. The ones that are really, really talented. There's some that are prefab made, but pretty much the ones that I've worked with, really, they've written scores, they've written their own music. Their work ethic is phenomenal. I think people think that everyone's eating bonbons or something, but the amount of energy it takes to promote something or do something is extraordinary. And most of them have, they exercise, they eat well, they take time, they have a regime. Like they're just not, fabulous. Maybe some are, the ones, but the ones I've worked with have, the ethic is like just the junkets, the amount of, I've traveled and, people sometimes were getting up at 4 or 5 to be on a morning show and to just be going all day, and it's phenomenal. So that, I think I've learned a lot from that of having a really strong work ethic, and that we're all the same.
And then what brought that transformation? I know that you're still doing some of that work, but what brought you to the work that you're doing now?
Always from day one, I studied in London, England, and it was a time when, fashion, you almost didn't do fashion. The fashion hair and makeup was not where it is today. You would do film or you would do stage. And I was always interested in natural skin and natural products. And at that time, people thought I was just crazy. They're like, well, why would you be interested in that?
So funny now. Like,
I
it makes
know,
so
right?
much
It's just
sense when
like,
you say it, but yeah.
oh God, I was just like a freak. I really like, why? And also my, adage was, beauty comes from the inside, or inner beauty. And everyone was just like, well, why? Like, it's external. It's not inner. And so it's just funny how it is just so mainstream now, or you would think it is. And I developed I think it's about 7 years ago, I was on set in New York. We were shooting, and I found out later that they had sprayed the sheets with an air freshener, and I couldn't walk the next day. I thought I had a stroke. I didn't know what was going on. And when I came home, I actually became bedridden for 2 months. And it was a journey of realizing that my body, it's called multiple chemical sensitivity. And I just had body burden, and my body just couldn't take, over the years of hairsprays and just all the things that I was using. And in that time, it took about 3 years to detox. I actually became a certified aromatherapist. And I just want to go back to the beginning when I was in London. I also studied, it was my journey of the beginning of studying metaphysics. And so I learned about healing and tarot cards and just everything that you could probably think of. So I had this for most of my career, like 35 years, had this parallel journey. And when I lived in New York in around 97, I studied with a woman in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So I studied like a natural facelift, again, more herbs and more things about the body and the face, and specific oils and things like that. And it was just continuation. So when this all happened about 7 years ago, I realized I was sort of living two different lives. And it takes a lot of energy to live two separate lives.
Yes, it
and
does.
So I just, and so I actually just fused it together. I thought, well, this is not represent. And it was funny because it was like one of those things that everybody on set would come to me, like if they had a headache or if there was something, they would ask me. So they all knew. It was just me. I was the one that was blocking it, which I think is quite ironic. And so I just fused it together. And I thought, well, this is, that's partially why I call it holistic beauty, because for me, beauty is body, mind, and soul. It's everything. It isn't just external. It's everything. Because we're vibrational.
Yeah, when I hear
beings.
you say this, it sounds like, on some other level, you were laying the foundation to be able to fuse this.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And I believe that. I believe our soul has a compass. You've probably seen that meme where you think you're going one direction, your soul, it's all squiggly lines and everything, right?
Yes.
I believe your soul has the compass. You can't make a mistake. You didn't come here to make mistakes. Even if you think you went all the way over there, you went halfway around the world, you went through 5 relationships, whatever it is, your soul has it has the compass. So I truly believe all that I learned was for where I am now, for sure. Absolutely.
I love it. So where do you want to start? Like, you've got this beautiful, bold term, sovereign beauty. You're making the incredible skincare. Like, where do you want to start in the conversation? There's so much goodness here.
There is. Well, I think it's really apropos. I'd really like to start with sovereign beauty and where that came about. I just feel that I call what we're going through right now the pause. It's just a softer way of for me just to deal with everything. And I'm finding that I'm seeing it's a great way for people, I think, to discover going, wow, I really don't really like the job. Like it's sort of come along, and it's been that dark night of the soul, or as a dear friend would call it, D-knots, an acronym for it, the D-knots. And you start to realize, I don't really want to be in that relationship or my work. And also, what am I doing with how much stuff am I buying and what is it going in? So for me, sovereign beauty is unplugging from the narrative for women that has been on for millennia of how you should be, how you should think, what you should say, and how you should look. Now that it's everywhere. It could come from your mom, it could come from your spouse, it could from media, as I mentioned, or even your best friend. And so this is about who you really want to be. So it's simplifying everything. And I think everyone now is going through decision fatigue. So, my program is very, very simple. And I get overwhelmed incredibly easily. So if I get overwhelmed, then it's something that I choose not to do, because I want everything really super simple.
And when I hear you saying this, and the one reason that I've always been, one of the many reasons I've been so interested in sharing this with people is, like, I've seen this a lot back when we were out in the world. We would do a lot of events, and, people would come and pick a May No Joy card at random, and then we'd give them the booklet, have a conversation. And there were so many times that a woman specifically, I just didn't see this happen to a man, but a woman would pick, there's a May No Beauty card, and she would just have this like reaction, So whether it was negative, or there were tears, or this was this pang in the heart, but it just like really like drove into people. And that's where I was like, wow, there's just this really raw relationship with beauty that needs some healing.
Absolutely. I call it sort of the colonization of beauty as well. I have all these names that I sort of, I don't really like labels, but it's a way for me to define something. And what I mean by that is again, in the conditioning, like I hear women say, oh, when I get my eyebrows perfect, it's going to be okay. It'll be okay. If I lose the 15 pounds, it's going to be okay. My skin was perfect. If I didn't have cellulite, it's going to be okay. And it goes one body part after another. So there's a separation. There is not the wholeness. And the thing for me is, we are the most magnificent, like, I can't begin to tell you, there will never, ever be another one of you, ever. You are in Genesis. I love this. They talk about Adam and Eve and being in garments of light. You're light beings. We are like so powerful and so amazing. And so this conditioning again of, oh yeah, you've got to fix this or you've got to do that. And we do it unconsciously ourselves. I hear if someone chooses not to wear makeup, what comes out of the mouth, sometimes we don't think that, oh, letting herself go. It's very insidious. It's really deep.
Yes. And so is everybody ready for your approach to beauty?
I think some are. It's interesting. I'm fully transparent. I did a meditation, and my meditation said there are people ready, yes, and then there'll be some that will come. It's new. It's a new paradigm.
Yeah.
So again, we are all vibrational. So I think we're coming into that. I think beauty's coming into that. I think people are going to start looking. Yes, if they're already looking at things organic, what's the next step? It's vibrational. We know that everything is vibrational. And that's how I approach everything. So it's a layering of how can you be as whole, radiate the wholeness of who you are, which is unique. You have a sound, actually. There is a frequency, you have a sound, you have a song that is unique. In all the universes, you would only have your song. So why would you want to be someone else when you have that? It's so unique. So yes, I think some people are ready for, and some people maybe will be intrigued,
Mm-hmm.
and then others, choose, well, that's not my cup of tea, which is fine, because I it's just my path. I'm just sharing my path, and it may be something that someone would be interested in.
So for those people who are ready, or the people who are intrigued, how does the door open for them? Like, where would you start with them?
Well, I actually have a Sovereign Beauty series starting up in March, and they can connect with me via my website or on Facebook. And that's a way of an introduction of me explaining and actually have experiential exercises. We do beauty meditations of, maybe you're not sure. I don't know what energy is. And so we'll guide gently through that. So you don't have to be, a meditation expert or anything like that, because it's just feeling into your body and really starting to dialogue and listen. I think we're so numbed out from so many different things. And that's different for everyone, right? Some people it's shopping, some people it's eating, sometimes alcohol. It's all these different things. We numb ourselves. And so this just gets you more in touch with your body so that you can go, oh yeah, you know what? I do need this today. I've got a big meeting today. And the way I create the skincare is specifically for your energy signature. So what does that mean? So here's another terminology. It's like, what do you mean by that? It's for your energy, what's going through in your life. Because it doesn't make sense to me that we use the same skincare all the time, because we're changing all the time. And our skin, we are garments of light, like I said. So the cool thing about it, I just want to go back to the garments of light, is in that in Hebrew, there's just one letter difference between skin and light. So that says to me, that's really important. Our skin, it's the largest organ in our body. It also has a microbiome. And so for some people who haven't heard that, we have a microbiome in our gut, which is where our immune system begins. And we also have a microbiome on our skin. And so sometimes when we're using products that have chemicals on them or whatever, it disrupts the microbiome. And that microbiome is actually protecting us from other bacteria, because we're 99% bacteria. So if that gets disrupted, it takes 36 hours to recalibrate. So what I look at is fully, when I'm creating something for someone, is what's going on through life. Are they moving across, the country? Do they just have a divorce? Did they just lose a loved one? And where is it in their body? And then we create a skincare for that, so they are moving through. So it may be 3 months that they're going through something, and then after 3 months, come back and we recalibrate and see what's going on. So it's living with you. It's living with you.
Do you feel like this would be a great space, like from like a he said, she said, but in this case, she said, to like explain the process, using that example of the one time, well, you've done it for me many times, but there was one particularly funny time when you were creating a scent for me.
Oh,
do you know which one I'm talking about?
Absolutely, yes, and you have given me permission to talk about it, and this really just shows the. I have to start first with. I am certified aromatherapist, but I study with a doctor in the U.S. and it's more the essential oils are more homeopathic, and for me, they are the soul of the plant. They are the essence and the soul of the plant. So that interfaces with your soul. So we're going on a much, we know from science that there's aromatherapy can work through the olfactory, through the nose. And so generally what would happen is you would have, if you want to something calming, you would use lavender. But I work on a much, much deeper level, soul to soul. So rose is the highest frequency on the planet because it represents love and the heart. And you had been coming to me and you were going through some, can I say what you were going through?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going through a divorce. So, So of course, that's not what you want to be looking at. And I had 3 different types of rose wanted to come out in the blend. And I remember, and you sort of knew that from me already. And when you came in, you just said, whatever we're doing, I don't want any rose. We're not doing that. I
know. Well, this is where I'm going to say, yeah, like from my part, I was like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. I don't like that smell. We're not doing that. I was just totally closed.
Totally closed. And I'm like, okay. And I'm not out to force anything. And so, all right.
Or trick anybody or
exactly,
do, yes.
Exactly. So it's like, all right. And I have to preface that never have I had, well, it's unique all the time. It blows my mind all the time. But never have I had where 3 different different types of rose wanted to be in the blend. And I'm like a Dr. Doolittle. I sort of, it sounds a little out there, but there's a consciousness once you get to know them, there's a sort of a telepathy going on, because I believe they're consciousness. So I'm just interfacing with them. And the 3 wanted to be in. I thought, okay. And they're like, no, we got to be in. I'm like, well, she doesn't want them. And you and I dialogued, and there was some stink eye moments where you were looking at me, and I thought, okay. And then finally we were discussing, and you said, you know what? I'm here. I want to do this. This is why I'm here. And so, okay, you did say yes. But the fascinating thing is that you could not smell any of the rose.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, just for people listening, part of the process is you get a sense for what should be included. And I close my eyes and I smell these fragrances or scents, whatever the right word is.
Mm-hmm.
And I say yes, no, or maybe, just based on like immediate reaction of how I feel that day. So sometimes it's not, you're trying to also, from my part, like not identify what it is, but just like, is that pleasing to me today? And yeah, I said yes to 3 rose scents, but I just recognized them as pleasing scents.
Okay. But correct me if I'm wrong, right? When I mixed them all, you never smelt them. Is that correct?
Like, yeah, I didn't notice it as that. And that's where I was like, kind of not happy, but I was like, oh, it's so cool to be wrong. Like in my head, I had this idea of what they meant, or maybe what I associated them with. And then I was like, oh, they're actually coming through for, my own healing. And I was like, what do I need to look at, in terms of healing my heart and loving myself and finding love in a different way. So on many levels after that, I found it very, very transformative.
Yeah. And I think it's an expansion of realizing the consciousness of that, because 3 would have been intense, right? If you had the 3, you're like, whoa, that's a lot of rose. Like, I don't like rose. And that's why I said there's a consciousness that can feel what you need. And so, and I remember, I think it was like a week or 2 later, he said, I bought roses.
I did. I was a total convert.
You could smell, see, the fascinating thing, you could smell it everywhere else. But the blend that we created for you, you could not. But it was working the constituents. It was opening at your heart. It was working on levels. And that to me is the magic, because that soul to soul is much deeper than just saying, well, you're like, I always use the example, you just want to be calm, we'll give you lavender. It's much, much deeper. It's exciting. It's really cool.
It's amazing. And just, how it's different all the time. So this, to your point, this skincare becomes, you obviously want to take care of your face, but it becomes something on such a deeper level.
Yeah. My whole vision is that, and you will notice, going back to the cream again, is it will adapt to where you are. So if you're having a little wobbly that day, you will notice that the scent will change. So it's not going off. It is actually rejigging. It's designed, the way I created it is designed to interface with whomever it is that we create it for. So it's that energy signature, is that it will start to adapt. And you may say, oh my God, I've got this huge meeting today and I don't like talking in front of people. I need, it'll change. So we're hitting multi levels. We are tending to the garment of light, which is your skin, but it's also what you're radiating, that essence in you. So it's bringing that out, so that when you walk out the door, my goal is that you are radiating the fullness and the wholeness of who you are at that moment in that day, because it's going to change. Because like I said, life is going to bring things towards us and we're going to change. So I think that's really a phenomenal way of approaching something.
It's so beautiful. And it's also reminding me of when we collaborated last summer to create that joy scent. I was
Yeah.
just like, can we do something? And can
Yes.
it smell like joy? And you gave me two testers and you wouldn't tell, they were number 3 and number 4. And I didn't know what was in them. And I liked one straight away. And that was the one that I consistently,
Number 3, was it number
number
3? Right.
3, just really loved. But I did, like, I used it when I was journaling, when I was writing, when I was meditating, if I was going out somewhere, just different times when I felt I needed this connection point. And I always loved it, but it always did just, catch me in a different way.
Yes, it's different. I have to preface, it's not, someone said to me, it's very subtle and it's not a perfume. So it's not designed as a perfume. You can wear it like a perfume, like you can put it on your list, but it is doing things on, whether you know or not, you don't have to really know that. You can just try and go, oh, I feel really great using this. It's not about the scent so much, if that makes sense. So it's not a perfume. You can wear it, like I said, you wear it just like that, but it's not a perfume. So yeah, I had someone the other day saying, "Oh, it's not. I don't smell it all the time." Well, that's not maybe. That's because it's not. It's designed to interface with you in a different way.
I love it. So I want to shift for a sec. So, first, one of the interesting things that you and I also did was when we had done this workshop in person, you led us through this beautiful, I think you had brought a beautiful oil, and we were just doing a meditation and a self face massage. And, afterwards, I would say it was, I don't know, mostly women in their 30s and 40s. I don't remember exactly. Maybe some younger, some older. But number one, it was a beautiful experience. But we were also all commenting, like, we've never touched our faces that way. Like, that was so cool.
It never ceases to amaze me. That's that separation again, right? The colonization of the body. We're more interested, again, I would call it conditioning. I got to fix this. I got to do this. I got to separate this. Oh, I don't like this. Or um, I don't think there's maybe once in my lifetime that, I asked a woman, so, or even a compliment. How many times you complimented a woman and you say, oh, you look really great. Oh, no, it's like my hair. It's like, it's not this. Or I don't like this, or my spots are showing, or like wrinkles. And it, it, we never take the time, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time to be present with yourself. So in the morning, it's a really great time just to hold it. It's so sacred. I love that there's a Japanese story, or whether it's a myth or whatever, is that your face in this lifetime is the face of your beloved in a past life. So how could you not love that face? To remember
That's
that,
beautiful.
right? So I love that. It's just like,
That's
and
so
so, right?
beautiful.
It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. You're like, you chose that to remember because that was your beloved. You are the beloved. You are the beloved. So that thing of just, it's one of my favorite meditations, and I actually do it in the Sovereign Beauty series, and it never ceases to, like, women just go, oh my God, I feel so different. And it's that intentionality of just, I mean, you could even do it now while listening to us, is just, put your hands up to your face, just hold your face, your head. It's the most sacred. It's so sacred. It's beautiful. It's what everyone sees. It's the first thing, your eyes. So it's very, very powerful. And so when you wash your face, you can just, cup it's like 30 seconds. It really, that intentional touch is amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted you to mention because, we're all laughing because it's like, yeah, like just, for me, many times it's been like, okay, slap on the cream, let's go, off to do this, off to do that. And after that experience, this being intentional with it and just being like, well, I could just, I'm doing it anyway. So why not really be here and make it this really beautiful experience. And like you said, like be so present.
Yeah, it's looking at yourself in a whole different way. Because like I said, the conditioning is, most of us look in the mirror and we're like, oh God, I got to get this done fast. I really don't want to see myself. So I'm just going to just whack it on and, go quickly. And I noticed actually I just did the series recently, and so many women said, um, I feel and I look different. I'm seeing my eyes through my eyes. I'm actually seeing myself differently. And they've kept it up because it's something like it's a 4-week series, and still checked in with people, and they're just like, oh yeah, I can't believe it's so simple and it's so powerful, and it's phenomenal. It really is. So yeah, I just I said, just invite everyone, just try it in the morning, because we have to do things. We've got to brush our teeth, but it's almost become like a chore. It's like, oh God, and is that a way? Like, is that how you would treat your beloved? You would, take the care. I mean, this is our temple, and it responds. The body it's just miraculous. So if we just love it and take care of it, it's amazing what it will do.
So if you were guiding somebody, if for me, for example, and you're like, Adrienne, this is how you could, in a simple way, just really shift your morning routine, what would you tell me?
I think the morning routine is so powerful. And this is coming from someone, I think a baby, I was nocturnal. So my whole life was easily up 1 or 2, just that's just how it was. And then when I was doing shoots and things like that, so very often the start time would be 8 or even 7 in the morning. So I'd have to get up super early, and I am not a morning person. And I think it's really, for me, starting off the day is just, it sets the tone for everything. And if you hit the snooze button 5 times, you got to think, there's many reasons it could be. I don't like where I'm going to work. I'm exhausted. So you're getting signs of things to pay attention to this. Like if you're waking up and you're just like, oh, that's great and everything. Well, this is good. You're moving in obviously a pleasant direction for yourself. So the first thing in the morning, it sets the tone for the day. So whether you start out and you do journaling or meditation, that's what I do. I get up early, I journal, I do meditation. It sets the tone for the day for me. But also, if that's not your jam, you don't want to do all those things, and you want to go in the bathroom, it's really it becomes like a little ritual. And you take the presencing. And now that presencing, you can slow down. When you're present, in 2 minutes, if you brush your if you're not rushing, you just be present and you brush your teeth, and then you look at your face and you put the moisture. You're not just slapping the moisturizer on. Actually, just revere. You love your face and look through your eyes, and you may do affirmations. You may say something, or you may have post-it notes, whatever it is, whatever you do. Everyone has different ways of doing things. So it's really slowing down and taking that. And I do something called charging your moisturizer. So that's something where you can instill what you need for the day. We are 70% water. And everyone researched a man called Masaru Emoto. And he did studies with water and how you can change things just by our thoughts. I mean, I think they say we have like 70,000 thoughts a day. And because of what we're thinking, and we're 77% water, we can change molecularly. You can see, he's done studies where you can actually see under a microscope what the water, like if you put the word hate on water, it's all just, the crystals, it's all mangled up. The word love is, of course, is really vibrant. It's really beautiful. So it's that thing again, being 70% water in the morning, of just being reverence to who you are. And when you have your cream, you can, everyone can try this. You could just put your cream in the palm of your hand and just put the other hand on top of it and just infuse. Again, you may need something for the day. You may need strength. You may need courage. You may need energy. There's a lot going on right now. You can actually imprint the water. The water is like a liquid crystal. So you can imprint it. And again, I always invite people to say, try it out. Don't listen to me, go check it out. And don't do it once. Like, you always say, give yourself a week or so. 21 days, great. But most people try out in 7 days and see if your morning shift where you are. So this is part of being sovereign, because you are it's you that's bringing in that, today I feel great, fabulous. I'm going to just pour in lots of love in my moisturizer, and the next day is like, wow, I'm tired today, so I need some energy, whatever it is. I need grace. I need, wow, I need clarity today. I've got this meeting today. I got to be spot on. So you are bringing them that. That's part of being the sovereign beauty. You're bringing that alive in yourself.
I love it. And when I hear you saying that, I just hear, such a strong and strengthening connection to the self. And, when you're doing this all the time, just creating these beautiful experiences for yourself because you're on your own side.
Yeah. You're that powerful. You're that. So it doesn't have to be something external. You're the one that's taking, and you make it. And part of the sovereign beauty too is making it work for you. It's not a program where it's like, A equals B equals C. You follow this, and then someone says, well, I just can't get to C. I can't even get to A. It's like, it's not working. And the person says, well, you have to do the A equals B equals C. Well, how about this is all about making it work for you. Because if it's not going to work, it has to work for you. So again, that thing is, sometimes if you have children, I don't have children, but I've heard from clients who have children, kids, and spouses, and dogs, and everything. Mom, is sometimes, and maybe you can attest to me and let me know, is the only time is sometimes in the morning is being in the shower. Like, that's your time, right? Because there's always, your spouse is going to be calling you if you're doing something. So that's another time to just let the water, you're in there for what, 2-3 minutes? I don't know how long you shower, if maybe you like long showers, but just letting the water just again, you're 70% water. Just take that water and just clear away everything so that you start your day really, really fresh. And you don't have anyone, because that's your little space in there that no one's going to be calling you. And you can utilize that. So even if you say, I don't have time to meditate, I don't have time, you're in the shower. So again, it's utilizing these, taking up and utilizing these things that we do anyways, and using them. It's like little tools that we can use.
I wholeheartedly agree with this, yeah, absolutely. And I never agree with the I don't have time. I mean, I used to say it, and we create time. Do we have full lives? You bet. But when you create any amount of time for your self-care and intention and mindfulness, you can just show up for yourself and all those people who are hanging off your legs in just a better way. Everybody benefits.
Everyone. And then you are really, I keep going back to your sovereignty. Then you step out of the shower or whatever you're doing, and you are solid as best as you can for that, day, because we have wobbly days, but you are showing up, and you're going to be that much more present. So it's always bringing into alignment and bringing us into the current moment, because it's so easy to go in the future, and it's so easy to go in the past. And if that brings you through, I use your cards in my work as, if it's picking a card, or if it's, using one of the roller balls to bring the scent back in, to bring in whatever it is, or even, literally sometimes it's at work, we're at different times now, so we're not in offices, but, it's going into the bathroom in the cubicle going, okay, like, I got to get it together. Right?
Yeah.
And one simple thing that I always say to is you can put your one hand on your high heart, just above your heart, and one below your belly button, and that will engage your parasympathetic immediately. And for me, when I do that, that just feels like a duvet, like I've just put a duvet cover. And again, that's something that, people listening can sort of try as they're listening to us now and go, oh yeah, that feels, what does it feel like to you? Does it feel calm? Does it feel, what does it feel like? I'm not going to tell you how you're going to feel. You experience it and see what you think.
I learned that from you, and I do it often. And I just find it, yes, very grounding. I feel very whole. I feel very present. I feel connected to my body. It's really, really beautiful. And I think it's because it's both hands on these major organs. It just is, it's powerful.
Well, again, I'm not a doctor. I always joke I'm a rocket scientist, though, but
well, you are.
It does activate, like chemically, your body activates. It's fabulous, but it also is something that you can do anywhere. Like even if you're in a situation where you're like, oh, I feel really vulnerable right now. People don't even know. You can just put your hands up, and it's like most people aren't even going to notice that you're doing it. So it's just something that's really, really simple. And I'm all about simplicity.
Yes.
I think we do everything. There's so many things that are complicated. I think, again, programs and things, there's just all these components and all these different things. And I think simplicity, like it's amazing it's powerful. It's really powerful.
It absolutely is. And I also just want to shift gears one more time because I'm like, I just really want to cover all this stuff.
I'm loving it.
I got my list in front of me. And
good.
So tell us your views or what the term anti-aging means to you.
Wow. That's not loaded, is it?
No.
Well, that again, I'm bringing that back to the sovereign beauty because, again, there is the separate. We don't have role models. It's in other cultures, interesting enough, like Japan and China. You can be an octogenarian and even a centenarian, and like they have festivals, and there's also this sort of thing. But there's even just there's so much. Again, going against the grain of a woman, like even, menopause. I was just on some group and, young girls have spent their whole life pretty much, oh, I hate my period. I hate this. Nah, 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 nah. And then it comes to like menopause. It's like, oh, I hate that. So we're going back to the, you're 70% water. What are you saying to yourself?
Yeah.
And there's just, as opposed to just looking at, what I don't think a lot of women realize is that when you're having a hot flash, that's the equivalent. That's actually Kundalini rising up into your head. There's, you read in books that there's monks that have meditated for 40 years in a cave. You don't have to do that. You just have to have a hot flash and you're getting enlightened. So there's all these things that we haven't even been told. And so there's amazing things happening. So I have, it's this thing too of women. There's also a thing I just watched the other day, women in their 50s on YouTube or whatever, and their faces don't move. And I find that so unnerving because to me, it's like castrating who you are. And you're trying to look younger. Is it because of a man? Is it because of society? All these different things. So I do have a thing with anti-aging. I am all about how do you prevent, and it's not prevent, it's like pro-youthing is something that I would say. Like, so what are the things that you can do that are going to be healthy for you? And a lot of times people, oh, that's not sexy. Like, I want to eat and drink and smoke and do whatever I want to do. Well, then that's fine. But then there are going to be consequences if you do that. There are some people that miraculously you have some aunt somewhere who smoked 2 packs a day and she's got flawless skin. There are, that's for sure. But mostly from what I see is, and it doesn't take much in the shifting of the small things that you can do for yourself. And again, I'll go back to the celebrities. If you want to have the energy during the day, if you're drinking coffee or you're doing stimulants and certain things, it's going to start taking the toll on the body. So if you're replenishing, you're doing things that are, and that may be different for everyone, right? Everyone's replenishment may be different. So I think it's something we're going into an interesting time now. When you ask me about anti-aging, is for young women, because now, when I grew up, you had to be skinny. That was the onus, was you had to be skinny. Now you have to have boobs and a bum. You have to have booty, and which sort of isn't really natural to our genetic shape. And you can't age. So all the young girls, because of media and everything, so they're like 20, they're already, oh my God, I can't have a wrinkle. Because they're seeing women in their 50s don't have wrinkles. So it's a thing. And I love seeing someone's face move. Like when a woman's excited, someone's telling me a story and she just lights up and then everything moves. And I love when a woman smiles and I see, there's whatever, you've got crow's feet. Who cares? Like that to me is someone who's lived. I want to know who that is.
I agree. It's just a quick personal story because it's so top of mind. I was helping my son yesterday with his math homework. So that's a whole thing in and of itself. And so I drew a picture of him doing his math homework. And then he's like, well, I'm going to draw a picture of you.
I love
Needless to say, he wasn't too happy with me at the time. And so, yeah, I was like, oh, that's nice. Like you're drawing eyelashes. And it was like my crow's feet. And it's just the best picture. And I was like, you can't, we were just joking about it. It was all done in fun. But I was like, that doesn't make me feel bad. Like I'm so good with those laugh lines.
Well, that's great. Because, I think for a lot of women, that would be not a great experience. And I see what I'm also seeing, which concerns me in some way, is I had a conversation the other day of talking about mirrors and how, late 1800s or whatever, 1900s, you didn't have mirrors around the house, right? You had the little handheld mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully your sister, your / girlfriend would go, okay, your hair is looking a little, you milk the cows, you did whatever. It's a little nesty, but like you look great, but you gotta, and as we've moved on, almost, 100 years, right? And you would walk by, again, here's the conditioning of everything that's so just sinks down. You walk by a store and you see the reflection of a glass, or you see, because mirrors are everywhere, you have them in their house. But now we have social media. So now that to me is the new mirror. And I, hear from women, I'm a CEO, I have to do a Zoom. I don't like how I look on camera. I don't like how, again, so look what's happening, what's going on. And so now what's going on is to put, they're called facial tuning, where you can change your face. So I've seen women post pictures and I'm like, I can see it because of my industry. I know what's going on. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? The only thing there's is the 2 eyes and there's 2 dots for the nostrils because everything's been erased, basically.
Oh my God.
And then a friend would say, oh my God, what is going, you look amazing. What are you doing?
Oh
And
no.
that woman says, I'm just drinking more water. And so you just, really? So you just sort of lied to your friend. So there's this whole sort of thing of masking and masking and masking. And that's the thing that, again, visually, then when you see someone who is real, it's like, when you see a celebrity without all the airbrushing and all that sort of, all the digital cleaning up of everything, it's amazing. Like they're just like you and I. Some of them, yes, have had plastic surgery, but we haven't seen what it's like. We're starting not to see what it's like for someone to be who they are. And that's part, again, the sovereignty, you know? I
Yeah.
think it just has to go back to, well, it can be what it's like. I think there's just going to be some people who want to augment and do what they want to do. For me, at some point, probably will be a consequence to something if you're augmenting, meaning you have, your teeth done. I don't know if people realize that when they've got their teeth done, that they file down your tooth. So like that's bone. So, that's going to down the road, going to shift your facial features. There's just all these things that we start doing. And if we start doing them younger, it's going to start. It's like when you move your couch over somewhere else, it's, you have to start moving something else. So it starts to create this chain reaction. And really, if we just go back to simple things, and again, just looking that I'm going to go right back to the beginning of the garments of light, is you are miraculous. There is never, ever going to be you ever again. Like, that's how special you are. And that's what I want to celebrate.
So beautiful, Jackie. This time together just like flew by, and I'm glad that we were able and you were game to just cover so much territory. I'm going to share with everyone in the show notes how they can find you. So whether it's, participating in March or they're listening later, they can come and find you and see what
Absolutely.
you're up to.
Yep.
And is there anything else, that we missed that you wanted to include? Or you kind of just said these beautiful words of inspiration, but if there's anything else you want to add, I'd love for you to do that.
Well, I want to speak to the woman who is in the pause right now and is just thinking, wow, like I'm just spending so much money on all these products. I just see them everywhere. I'm a bit overwhelmed. Some of them I don't even know how to use. And you thinking of what can simplify my life and simplify, but also just embrace it in so many new ways. Then I invite you just come, and you can, ask me questions by all means, but really just sit with yourself and try the things that we talked about today, like just cupping your face, charging your moisturizer, holding your hands, just holding yourself, and see how you feel. And part of the sovereignty of what we talked about today is what works for you, not what anyone else says. If you choose, I have to just say that, the women in the group, some of them didn't wear makeup, some of them wore makeup. It just doesn't matter. And that's where I want everyone to be. So you shine your light. You don't dim it. You shine your light the way that you want to. So I will leave it at that.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for listening. May some of the wisdom shared here inspire your most intentional living. For more information about this episode, this podcast, intentional living, and my work in the world, please visit mayyouknowjoy.com. You can also find my May You Know Joy and Seeds of Intention cards there, and my book, Intentional Days. You'll also find details for the Intentional Days membership, where you can gain access to a thriving community of intentional souls and lots of regular inspiration. I've got you covered. Until next time, I wish you great joy and many intentional days.